Hi guys, I'm back again. So this is part 2, and I have bigger sketchbooks this time because eventually I did move on to bigger sketchbooks. There were some sketchbooks in between all these three. I don't know where there are, but they speak for themselves. They speak for the time that was. So I guess the theme for this video is probably going to be regression equals progression because I regressed so much during this video. During these sketchbooks, and then somehow I make my way back, and then somehow I regress again. So I'll just show you. Yeah. Let's just do this. So as you can see, this is like the exact same time frame as what we just went through. So I ended up getting a big sketchbook after I got that smaller one. Yeah. Here's another landscape thing that I was going to finish, but I was a 12-year-old and I obviously had no time on my hands, as a 12-year-old. Here's Runaway Vampire again. So I ended up trying to develop this story by adding 2 other characters, and an animal, which, cliches are everything. I did discover more colors. Did I discover it on the rest of the page? No. But I did have them, just so you know. So this was actually a really big thing for me way back when. Like, this was the bomb. This was the best I've ever done. I had peaked, nothing else mattered. This right here was the picture of my dreams. This was, I guess, technically concept art for Runaway Vampire. And it was a pretty cool arc. I might reuse it for a different story, simply because it was just cool, for a 12-year-old. This is, a attempt to redraw something from my nightmare that ended up reoccurring 6 years after I had it. It was bad. It was pretty bad. It was a pretty bad mojo, man. Some more Runaway Vampire. I drew a whole bunch of story shit in here. So, yeah. This was actually, yeah, I just turned 13. Or 12? 13? Yeah, 13. So, a new age and a new style, I guess. I started to get a little bit more aware of how faces were drawn. I drew back from that anime face that I had. I noticed that noses had certain shapes, and clothes had wrinkles, so, progression, in a way. And then I reverted back, and decided to try, drawing myself as an animated person, and then an animated guy person, which, is probably my first attempt of trying to say I'm queer as fuck, but, whatever. I tried to draw a horse at one point. Didn't go well. Didn't even finish it, but I knew kind of what horses look like. I knew that they had eyes, and ears, and a mouth. Once again, I thought I could draw foxes. Obviously, I kind of got better, but I wasn't the best. I'll just skip through it. A little bit more of a landscape, a lot more shading. I went back to shading. I got better at wings. The feathers still aren't detailed. The wings still, they just, you know what they look like. But I was really proud of this drawing at the time. It was nice. Pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. And this was another story I tried to do. Went back into anime again. It was actually a pretty interesting story. I might reuse these characters, just, actually develop them this time, instead of having, the girl character and then the other girl character, because, that's a cliche, that everyone uses. And then this was pretty much just art of this, and, it's what 13-year-olds would draw. Like, there's nothing more I can say about this. I did discover that there were other colors than red, though. That's some pretty darn good improvement right there. You don't need to see that one. That one's just for Jake. Yeet. I just eat. Eat. Is that how you say it? Eat. And then there was this. This is a concept I ended up reusing. This one and some other one later on. But this has been redone. Not this exact picture and not these exact people in these exact outfits, but the concept behind it of what I had at the time, definitely redone. And it's so much better. It's so much better. But as you can see, I went back into shading. I noticed that things had different colors, even though it was monochromatic. I still didn't know how to do hands. They were tiny and useless. I didn't know how to do boobs, but I kind of knew what a sword looked like. I kind of knew what feet looked like, in a way. And then this was for my mom at one point. I could probably redraw that and make it better. But, and then back into anime, because, I mean, you know, regression is progression, right? That's how it works. So I think it works. So I thought I was adorable. Obviously I wasn't. There's a lot of blank pages in these big sketchbooks, because I felt like I needed to keep them in case I needed them for more important projects. So yeah. This was when I was dating a guy, and I ended up breaking up with him because I was really young, and that wasn't actually dating. It was just, hey, you want to have a title? Cool, let's have a title, and then not talk to each other. So, it's a pretty cool concept, though. I mean, other than the fact that he's obviously putting his head into the sun. Man, you know. Here's another fox attempt. Obviously, I was trying to have a style while also maintaining anime, and it just turned out to be a jumbled mess. This is another drawing I was pretty proud of as a kid. Just because I did this like 3-dimensional rock, and I was like, wow, it's popping out, and it's like, I look at it now and it's like, I could do so much better. But I learned after this that things could be 3-dimensional. And another blank page. This was another attempt at 3-dimensional things. So you have this cliff face, because you know you always have to have a wolf on a cliff face, and on the moon. I mean, it's just obvious. Is that a bird? Okay, that's a bird. So yeah. It wasn't the best wolf I could draw, but yeah, I mean, even now I can't draw wolves, so this is pretty impressive. Back into anime. Here's my fursona. Just kidding, I don't have a fursona. Please don't call me a furry. I still didn't know how to draw boobs. As you can see, I thought that yep, those are some sharp titties. I kind of started to know how to draw hands. Feet were still a mystery. They still are. Feet are just really fucking hard. Here's another thing from that's other thing with the two girls. Pretty much the same concept behind them, but I revamped them. And there's some more of them, like concept art anyway. Some more practice on like how light affects your vision, and you see how I have little rays of sunlight, and then those those circle things you see when you're like looking not directly at the sun but like next to the sun, and then you have like the sun rays. And I was practicing with like floating rose petals and shit. Like this was the shit back when I was like 13. This was some good shit. I was improving. I kind of understood that hands are they look different at different angles. So I mean I was doing pretty good. And then yeah, I knew how to draw. I knew how to shade. I knew things. I just didn't use my techniques in every single drawing, like I could have. But I mean, I did know how to draw. This is the story that is being reused. The other two pictures It's called The Dove in the Shadow, except now I have a different name for it. I have a different concept for it. I'm using the same characters, but they look different. It's complicated. Basically, if you ever find any of your old art, recycle it. Just recycle your concepts. It's fine. No one will know. Except for the people on YouTube. And then I regressed again, but also kind of progressed, because I finally learned what a horse face looked like, in a way, and how horses kind of worked, but I also didn't use the rest of this page. So, it's pretty darn useless in this sketchbook. I could have used all of this space, but I was like, no, this horse is too perfect. There's nothing else can be around it. Here's another attempt at a self-portrait. Obviously my lashes got better. They're not huge, but they're still thick. The face has angles, but not the right kind. The lips are still two-dimensional. The hair is hair. I kind of knew how to draw boobs. Proportions were still off, but I was learning because I had gotten boobs. And when you get boobs, you finally know what boobs look like. And here's another character I made and then never used again. And just you know, this is a 13-year-old's OC. You just know, like, there's no doubt about it. Another attempt of the wolf. I was trying to do a close-up of that other wolf picture, but then I gave up. See, look. I learned how to do boobs. I learned, in a way, kind of. I learned clothes. I learned clothes had wrinkles in them, and it worked in some kind of way. See, and I knew. See, I knew. Psh, I knew. Hair does this a split thing and shit, but I still regressed because it's still anime. It's still so animated, and it's like, what is that bow attached to? I don't know. Where are her ears? I don't fucking know. So there's that. There's another blank page. This is like the best page. And then back into the anime, with like these sharp lines and these sharp jaws and like the weird ass boobs again. These like cute characters. And it was just bad. But then I started experimenting with hair a little bit more. I kind of gave up on clothes on this one, even though I could have done better on this. But the paper looks okay. The paper kind of looks like clothes, though. I didn't know how paper worked. Even though I had paper right here, I could have just looked at it. But yeah, there's that. This was... I'm still 13. Okay. Gun. I didn't know how to draw guns. For some reason, he had either blood or saliva on his tail. I don't know. I don't even remember these characters. I think he was a demon, and he was just some guy with a gun. The two only characters you can have in any kind of story. Gun and demon. Oh no. No, that's terrible. But yeah. Then there's this shit. Okay, so with the wing characters, you saw my wing characters. You know what I'm talking about. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna actually make a story out of them, and so I did. I attempted to make a pretty darn long story. It was pretty great. But it was still. I can't. And like it was such a ripoff. It was such a ripoff. I put too many words into one panel. I knew what expressions looked like, but I had the wrong expressions at the wrong points. There was no spacing. There's no time to take in what's happening. I learned about the monochromatic colors, and then I added red again because, only red and black are allowed. And, it's just the typical girl characters, the typical guy character. You have nothing to pull them together other than the fact that I drew them in a bunch of panels. And it was supposed to be dramatic, but you didn't give a shit. No one gave a shit. But I learned that this is what I like doing. this. I like doing stories, so I continued this. I learned. I got better. Even... Jesus, fuck. It's so bad. Okay, we'll just... Goodbye. Random blank paper. So... There's that. I think this one comes next. As you can see, 13-year-old me slowly coming into 14-year-old me, where I have, like, all these different fandom shit going on, and then my signature that's, like, fucking everywhere. So, yeah, I don't know. Decided to decorate the cover, I guess. I never did it again. Like, you can look at any other sketchbook, and it's like, this is the only one. But, yeah. So this is probably around the same time frame. This is like right after I finished that other sketchbook. But I started using colors again, more than just red. This time it's blue. I learned how to do hair a little bit more. I learned how to do hands and feet. Proportions were still off. The anime was still kind of there. You can still see it. I learned, 3 dimensions, kind of. I learned kind of how water works, even though water doesn't look like this. And I was still trying to be edgy. But it's there. I did something. And then I regressed back again. Back into the chibi. And it wasn't even like... At least I went away from the huge-ass perfect circles that I had. But this is no way, in any way, better. Like, it's terrible. It's all times terrible. And it's huge. It's huge. They're all as big as my hand. Yeah. Here I am trying to do wolf again. This is probably the best I can get at wolves, even now. I've learned how to do people and scenes, but animals still confuse me sometimes. I like a lot of these random pages. Oh god. Ugh, don't make that joke. You know. But I did learn so much. See how I learned how clothes can be poofy, and how hair kind of droops. It's still very emo. This is a 2012. This has gotta be 2012. Oh, no date. Right, this is where I stopped dating things. I learned how colors relate to each other a bit, even though it was still kind of off. I learned how to fade things. I started using things to my advantage. See, even here I'm using shading techniques and a little bit of clothes techniques to show that things are draping. So I mean, it's good. It's good. I was back. Still 13. Right. Still kind of edgy though. Like, I didn't even know how to do cursive. I just kind of guessed that's how letters are. Like, you can see that's not how you draw an E in cursive. They're not even like fucking connected. So there's that. There's a lot of random pages. Here I am trying to do eyes. I can see where my progression ended, because I was like, I don't know, I guess eyes are like this, because I'm watching the anime, and I was like, what would happen if I just tried to do realism for a second? And that happened. Still with the anime eyes. They don't go away for a while. They're still there. And proportions are still pretty bad. But kind of learned how gravity worked a little bit. You can see the hair going up, the clothes going upwards, the random rope. I don't even know why the fuck she has a rope, but it's there. Straight. That's why she's falling. She's still in the closet. There's also a lot of like unfinished ones where I was like, nah, I'm gonna do something else, and then I never go back to it. Random ass page. And here's some more edgy shit. Oh my god. Still 13 at this point, and it's okay. Like, I couldn't even draw actual handcuffs. I just didn't want to draw her hand, so I made a cuff around her hand. Frozen owes me money for that, because they stole it. Here I am practicing a language I don't even know. I wanted to know, but I never learned, and I don't even know what half of these ones are. I think that one means I. Why I put it there, I don't fucking know. But, I mean, you know, I was practicing with style and how colors relate to each other, and how, it is just how things work, and it was apparent that I was learning. Then I regressed back again. With a strong anime eye. Wasn't even trying to draw a real eye. It was like, yeah, this is anime, I love it. Here, that's an anime eye. I think this is a Friends character? Probably. What the fuck? Okay. Alright, yeah, alright. And then I decided to rip off my own other story, the Runaway Vampire one, but, like, make it different. And so I called it The Souls of Loss. And, like, it was just the same thing, except instead of, like, vampires, it was angels or something. And it was so apparent. I was practicing with blotching with this one, which, I mean, was a good test, but I still didn't know how to do eyelashes, and I still don't know how to do crying correctly. Like, there's no such thing as water drops that small. Proportions are still totally off. But, I mean, I was trying. It's obvious that I'm trying. I know that eyes shine. I know that irises are different than pupils, and I know that people have lashes. Oh, here we go. So, you know that one vampire character? Yeah, I just made him a fucking wolf. Like, why not? Angels and wolves, right? And it was pretty decent. Like, this is obviously a lot better than some other things. This is definitely a lot better. I was trying to learn how to do certain styles. I ended up, like, copying that same exact pose over and over again, though. Like, it's just fucking everywhere. Why do all my pages have this, like, rip? What happened? The fuck does that mean? Alright. Bye. Here I am, I ended up redrawing this and putting it in a scrapbook somewhere. But this is just, you know what it is. We've been through this. Oh, this is when my dog died. Oh, no. I think this is when I stopped drawing dogs, or did I end up continue drawing dogs? I can't fucking remember. I remembered I was trying to draw wings, but it ended up being like fur wings, because I was like, dogs wouldn't have feather wings, they would have wings with fur, right? So, like, hair, which is totally non-functional, by the way. I don't know what I was thinking. But it was just a tribute to my doggy. Happiness. Yeah. I am trying with, like, different outfits. Oh, it's this thing. When I finally learned how to do hands. Oh my god. This was it. This was, yep. I was trying to be cool. Look at that. Hands being hands. And then there I am, regressing back to the exact same phase. And then this was me practicing with different mediums. I know this is charcoal. Yeah, this is charcoal. And then marker and crayon, I think. And then this is pen. This is graphite. I think this is different kinds of graphite. And I was just testing this, and I just tried to make something of it. But it's really just, it's shit. Random blank page. Oh, there's something behind it. You don't need to see that, though. And then regress back to fan art of Castiel. Oh, gross. Gross. Was using my name way back when? Interesting. So, I mean, I started to learn more. This is obviously, I mean, you can find this on Tumblr. This is somebody else's art. I was just copying it because I was young and I didn't know what I was doing. But here I am again with that same face. I was practicing with hair. I ended up getting better at it because of this picture. Here I am practicing with clothes and how they work. And even with shoes, like, my shoes got better. Like, that's some pretty good shoes. That's some pretty dope shoes. But I regressed back into the straight lines of anime. You can see, like, those hard, straight lines, and it's very, very two-dimensional. But I was learning. You can tell I was learning. And then regress back. I used more colors though. Started to use colors. Like that's some pretty good shit going on. But we'll just skip that. It's bad. We don't need to see too much of it. That's that. I never finished this one. Oh, I was so proud of this one when I was young, because I finally learned how to do, like, animal structures and faces and shit, and, like, muscles and bones and all that crap. I mean, it was still out of place. It was still totally random. You can tell I was still guessing on things, and I wasn't looking at an actual reference, but, I mean, it's a pretty darn good improvement all around. I didn't spend that much time on the landscape. I didn't spend that much time on what words I was going to use. But I mean, I was trying. I learned how to do hands. See, look. I learned how to do it. They're still shit, but I learned. And it's covered in blood because, I mean, I was an edgy teenager, so whatever. And then I started to go away from the eyes, finally. And I have the fucking real eyes. And I have cloth again, and hair again, and cloth, and just, like, you know, the collarbone. Just practicing with things. And then here's my third self-portrait that's, like, totally bad. But I understood where things were supposed to be dark and light, and I kind of knew what hair was, but not on myself. I knew how faces were actually shaped. Even though that's really not how my face looks. I was just kind of guessing. But I was learning. I was trying things out. This is for a story I never ended up finishing. That I might recycle because it was pretty good plot. But me practicing landscapes. Oh, and here's the edgy half of that one drawing I drew, that I revamped the vampire story of. And it was like, oh, look at demonic presence, oh, look, an angelic presence, look, 3 characters, and they're all girls, wow. And she's damaged, oh no, and she's cool, because she's eating fruit. But, yeah, there's that. Practicing with outfits again, another regression back into anime with, like, those hard, angular lines. And then me trying again, this time with color fades. As you can see, the color fading, and it's still very choppy, as if it was hair. That was kind of funny. I ended up drawing something just like that not too long ago. But, yeah. And then me trying again with colors, and again with wings, except, you know, this time it's like, I understood that feathers can split up. I just split them up too much. And I didn't actually give the wings structure. I just gave them a bunch of feathers. I understood how clothes can be dirty and dark and ripped, but not in the right way. So, yeah. This was very experimental. I was hella proud of this one. This is for another friend's story. As you can see, I just join other people's stories. And I was proud of this. It was some good shit. Some pretty good shit. Even though it was anime, it was still a regression. But, I mean, you can see some of the elements that I wanted to use in this picture. So let's just try to do this last one right here. Nah, we'll make a third video, it's fine. So, I think what I'll end this off on is, again, sometimes progression equals regression. You gotta go back to your old habits and realize how bad they are to know how good you can be. Bye.